Roblox is the single largest gaming platform ever, with a peak of 47 million concurrent users. But despite their extreme success and being worth over $90 billion, they have a history of chronically neglecting serious problems on their platform in regards to child safety. Every day, thousands, if not tens of thousands of kids are exposed to inappropriate content on their platform. And more, it seems like they don't care enough to do anything about it. That is, until one Roblox YouTuber decided to go on a crusade against their negligence. At nearly 2 million subscribers on YouTube, Schlep has made a career out of catching Roblox creeps and having them arrested and caught. But instead of a reward, Roblox has banned all of his accounts. This eventually developed into a lawsuit involving over 400 people who were victimized on Roblox, headed by Schlep himself. Fitting the kind of work he'd end up doing, Schlep has a tragic backstory. When he was around 10 years old, he was targeted and victimized by a creep on Roblox. Not as an isolated incident, but for years.
When I was a kid, I was groomed on Roblox by a popular developer. He manipulated me. He used power dynamics over me and frequently exposed me to and not safe for work material and loads of other stuff that a kid should never see.
It's quite common to see this kind of situation be a one-time incident, as predators keep moving from victim to lessen the likelihood they get caught. This was not Schlep's case, as the very same creep maintained contact with him from age 12 until age 15, culminating in Schlep making an attempt on his own life. His mom, in an act of desperation, reached out to Roblox via email, thinking that their staff would have the bare minimum sympathy to a mother who just nearly lost her child due to criminal acts on their platform. Of course, that is not what happened. Instead, she got an email back from Carlos at customer care, who suggested she report the predator in the game and provided her with a couple of links to prevention hotlines. This was the reaction of a Roblox staff member when informed that there was a criminal harming kids. No mention of the police, no mention to a more able authority, nothing. Might as well be an automated response. Fortunately, Schlep did survive this situation, and somehow this traumatic experience wasn't enough to permanently tarnish his enjoyment of Roblox, so he kept regularly playing the game. Many years later, in 2019, he created a channel called Maliboomer, which now stands at nearly 400 videos, which are all centered around this one Roblox game called Theme Park Tycoon 2. Now, this channel's content is clearly made for kids and contains no opinion-based videos or anything controversial, although sadly, after half a decade of upkeep, Schlep had to announce the end of his channel due to the stuff he got tangled up with over at his Schlep side channel.
I am sadly going to have to discontinue this channel. I don't know how. Maybe I'll do something in the future with it if I figure it out. If we figure something we all want to play, I don't know, maybe. But this channel sadly has to come to an end here. And, you know, I know there's a lot of very impressionable people that watch these videos, so I don't want to expose you guys to the full in-depth reason of why this is happening. Just know things in life, they don't always work out as you intend. And it sucks because I literally got back home from my trip and I was like, dang, I want to make so many more videos on this. I was so hyped, and I can't even make videos on this game anymore.
But what happened that was so serious is what you might be asking. Well, a couple of years after starting his Maliboomer channel, Schlep's various problems with Roblox accumulated to the point where he was in dire need of a place where he could voice his criticisms. While the channel had already existed since 2021, January of 2023 is when Schlep finally started posting under the name he came to be known for. His first video was focusing on how mismanagement from Roblox staff ruined one of his favorite in-game events, and the majority of his earlier videos are similar in tone. Nothing too serious or even too critical, just Roblox-related news, with an emphasis on changes Schlep believed the game should implement to improve the player experience. Whether it was about bugs and exploits that needed to be fixed, or content creators that promoted gambling updates, it rarely strayed too far into a serious realm. But over time, that changed. Right from the very beginning of his channel, he covered some things like the Alex Neutron controversy. Alex Neutron was a Roblox dev who became infamous for being an extreme furry who engaged with not safe for work material depicting animals. And this was particularly concerning since he ran a game called Meep City, which was full of kids who were often exposed to inappropriate stuff due to his poor moderation. As notable as it was for Schlep to cover this guy, at the time, there was a significant upheaval about it in the Roblox community. So Schlep's coverage could just be seen as him commenting on whatever was the news at that moment. But then came his coverage and outright support for Ruben Sim, who's someone I've actually made a few videos about, and I've even collabed with Ruben at one point. To make a long story short, Ruben was one of the first people to stand against the improper moderation and outright negligence of Roblox staff when it came to not safe for work content. In return, he was slapped with a lawsuit worth $1.6 million, which accused him of making terrorist threats that shut down a conference for Roblox developers, leading a cyber harassment campaign, and most vile of all, they tried to paint Ruben as a creep himself, claiming he was having inappropriate conversations with in-game users and uploading racy pictures of himself. All of these claims were disproven by Ruben in a lengthy and very inflamed online back and forth. But ultimately, the situation panned out so that while Ruben wasn't convicted of these accusations, he was sentenced to being banned from Roblox permanently. Fortunately, this didn't really do anything to stop his crusade against the horrible mismanagement done by Roblox staff, as he's still managing to push that envelope to this day. There are plenty of videos, including some of my own, as I said, covering that story. But what's really relevant here is that Schlep clearly saw significant value in what Ruben was doing, and a few months later, it started showing. On August 16th, Schlep made one of his first big videos, which now sits at nearly 700,000 views, where he explores an iceberg of Roblox admins who were fired and banned, and the reasons why. One of these stories involved inappropriate behavior towards minors, namely that of Quentosaurus, or No to Game, who was terminated after a huge Discord chat screenshot dump showed them engaging in ERP with an underage person. This established Schlep's first attempts at documenting and highlighting the massive predator problem that exists in that community. What's particularly egregious about all of this is right as the attention on the huge problem on Roblox ramped up, Roblox devs seemingly went out of their way to make it even easier for predators to act. Case in point, Roblox Tinder, which Schlep criticized for being an outright promotion of dating to a community that is predominantly composed of little kids. Literally, why? What is the point of adding a Tinder feature to a game that's meant for little kids? What could the outcome of that possibly be? I mean, besides the obvious, which Schlep documented instantly happening as creeps flooded into the app function and offered Robux for pictures. Given his personal history with this kind of situation and the fact that Roblox was glaringly looking the other way as criminals roamed free on their platform, Schlep decided it was time to take matters into his own hands. By late October, the Roblox problem had gotten so bad that even news outlets were covering it now, and Schlep began his crusade. His first attempts, even if they were a lot more casual than his later, more refined ones, immediately yielded results. It turns out that it's as easy as joining a public Roblox game to stumble upon people doing things that they really shouldn't.
This 21-year-old tried hitting up a 9-year-old, bro. What is happening? Oh my god. What are we witnessing here? Nah, real talk. There's gotta be like grooming and stuff on this game though. I mean, oh, dude. Oh my.
This video got another surge in viewership for Schlep, currently sitting at 500,000, so it became clear that the path forward was to double down. While his other content formats were also working and hitting 1 million views every once in a while, without a doubt, his predator catching videos attracted a lot more attention. In December 2023, Schlep teamed up with one of his frequent collaborators and fellow Roblox content creator Green Lego Cats to start a series of videos called To Catch a Robloxian, parodying the famous Chris Hansen television show To Catch a Predator. In the very first installment of the series, Schlep goes over 4 different instances in which he and Lego Cats took less than 30 minutes to lure a predator using a decoy, showing just how easy it was to do this. In turn, you can imagine how easily kids can find themselves in situations like Schlep describes.
I started the message with, "Hi, how are you doing?" He responded back with, "Hi, I'm jerking it." After that, I let him know that I was only 13 years old. I asked him how old he was, and he said he was 20.
The most common MO of these creeps is to invite kids to cons, short for condos, meaning specific game servers that make it easier for them to simulate what they want to do to their victims. It's so stupid that all of this is taking place in Roblox, of all places, but on the other hand, it's also very disturbing. This first video got to 1.6 million views, mostly because despite the genre of predator catching already being massive on YouTube, with notorious cases like that of EDP445, no one had applied the format to Roblox as effectively as Schlep. The second entry to the series was even more successful, as it seemed all you had to do was log onto Roblox in order for the creeps to come pouring out of the woodwork and start adding you.
So I went ahead and added him and just said hi. A few minutes later, he went ahead and said back, "Hey, winky face." After some back and forth conversation, out of the blue he said, I'm very corny. He also stated that he was stroking it right now. I went ahead and let him know that I'm 13 years old, and if he was okay with that, I'm not even gonna read back what he said. Like, that is absolutely disgusting.
The absolute ease with which this is done makes me wonder why there's not like an FBI task force just doing this all day. I mean, how many creeps like these are there in total? Now, think about how commonplace it is to find these guys on Roblox. It seems like half of all creeps are on this game. This is like their meta. If you just caught all of them, the global creep population would take a massive hit. Schlep made a new addition to his sting operation, something called a bad morphs, which is commonly used in Roblox to add inappropriate features to your character. Again, this is a seemingly unregulated feature the game offers and is infamous for being misused, yet the staff does nothing about it. Without fail, every single pred walked straight over to the bad morphs platform. I'd get it if these people were using some top-notch methods to evade moderation, but they just got in the game and folded under zero pressure, immediately soliciting someone they thought to be a minor with messages like, "I'm a bottom if that's okay," and "I need a master." On other platforms like YouTube itself and social media in general, this type of person is always finding new metas to exploit the defenses put up by the platform against this kind of engagement and content. Despite how bad YouTube was in the past about this problem, it's actually improved a lot, and it's become way less common for people to successfully circumvent their defense mechanisms. However, here, there simply is no firewall, no structure to ward against blatant pedos who are actively using Roblox to victimize people. There are publicly visible NSFW groups on Roblox that are indexed right alongside the non-NSFW groups, which once again begs the question, why even allow for this at all? Isn't it a game for kids? Why does it so openly accommodate adult content? After those first two predators, Schlep found someone who wanted to roleplay a mom ex-daughter situation, with Schlep being a federal unemployment tax act representative. If that weren't enough, the perp then promptly suggested that they go do it in a con called Brook, short for Brookhaven, which is one of the most child-oriented cons available, meant to be played by kids who are 5 to 10 years old. Not only did this guy want to do ERP with who he thought was a 13-year-old, he wanted to do it in front of other kids, which I think is some twisted form of EPI, when creeps deliberately expose kids to inappropriate content to traumatize them. Of course, Schlep did not comply with this.
Take a seat. Yes. Dot. Hello there. What brings you to this house today?
First, what happened to the other person?
Now, what brings you to this place today to meet a 13-year-old?
The role play.
What type of roleplay? Ask that. Oh, they left.
Following in the footsteps of Ruben Sim, who had already pointed this problem out, Schlep's next target was Roblox games like Public Bathroom Simulator and Really Sus Hangout, which, despite being public and supported by Roblox, were openly promoting and inviting people to take part in NSFW action. In every one of his stings so far, Schlep had manually invited creeps to his personal game. But these aren't personal games. They're basically public servers with the express purpose of doing inappropriate stuff that were, at least at the time, rated as appropriate for all ages. To make matters worse, Schlep explains that one of the things this kind of inappropriate game does is add the prefix XYZ to their names to signal they're meant for NSFW usage. In this same video, he just looks up XYZ and immediately finds dozens upon dozens of other equally offensive games. He eventually joins one of these, only to find people notify whenever something sus is going on at one of the private rooms.
Bro, why aren't there like people like talking about this? Why is there not like journalists like looking into this? Like, isn't it crazy that the only people that are actually talking about underground, like really weird community of predators is like Ruben Sim? Room 14. Okay, room 14 is right here. Let's just, oh no, what is happening in there? Look at her avatar. Dude, that is the guy, that tongue right there. I've talked about that on the channel. That is made by a furry, not safe for work artist that Roblox vetted into the UGC program. And it's still on Roblox. Right?
Later on in the video, he finds another one of these where it looks so much like two characters are going to town on each other that I don't even want to show it here, even though it is pixelated. Keep in mind, all of this is taking place on a game by a company that's worth tens of billions, yet they can't afford moderation efficient enough to prevent this kind of thing. To help raise attention to it, Schlep Schlep made another video, highlighting the biggest games of this kind that were still up on their platform. And in this video, he re-enters one of the games he had previously covered. Oddly enough, the whole private room section was completely wiped clean since he posted his video. Without an inkling of cooperation from Roblox staff, Schlep successfully deactivated the not safe for work area of a Roblox game. It's surprising what you can get done by simply trying. Unfortunately, these creeps didn't just settle for doing stuff on Roblox, as in this video, Schlep shows them sending messages in the chat trying to get people to exchange Snapchat accounts, which is where they would continue their action. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the general topic, after Kik basically went defunct in 2019, the primary method for creeps to get in contact with their victims became Snapchat. There is no shortage of examples and evidence that Snapchat not only has a massive issue with this, but like Roblox, deliberately brushes aside warnings that their platform is being used to harm children. Birds of a feather flock together, and in this case, Roblox is being used as a pipeline to send kids to Snapchat, where more illegal activities get conducted. But just because some of the games were now being more careful with evading Roblox moderation doesn't mean that all of them were suddenly becoming careful, as Schlep immediately finds another one that still had a not safe for work section where people were getting down to business. As effective as his video was to throw a stick in the spokes of that one game, only proper moderation would actually make a difference overall, and it didn't seem like that would happen anytime soon. This is especially the case since the people running the game didn't just look the other way regarding the issue. In some instances, they actually worked with creeps, even if they didn't know about it. In May 2024, Schlep signal boosted a tweet made by Ruben Sim exposing someone called Inhi, the community manager for a game that was included in the upcoming Roblox Classic event. Apparently, this 20-year-old guy was going around on Roblox and Discord talking to minors about impregnation and making them big girls. Now, while this is par for the course, what's extraordinarily bad is that Ruben reported this guy on Roblox 3 days prior to making a tweet about it, and Roblox did nothing. However, when he made the tweet and it got some attention, this predator's account was instantly banned. Clearly, Roblox can act fast, but they only do so when they're concerned about themselves, never when it's about protecting kids in their game. Ultimately, these people's loyalty lies exclusively with themselves, and they will only do their job when there's public pressure for them to do so. And at this time, although there were momentary peaks of attention where the outcry was enough to get them moving, the momentum was quickly lost, and they went right back to looking the other way. Part of this momentum loss was on purpose, as even at this point, Schlep was already suffering from being banned from the game for his anti-predator activism, which, of course, was celebrated by the creep community. One of the foremost members of this illustrious community, Natharix, didn't just engage in inappropriate activities with minors online, but also sent gore videos in Roblox Discord chats with kids.
I'm gonna post a cool video
That's the only problem.
chat. I'm gonna post a cool video in the chat, guys. You should watch it.
Okay.
It involves
sure will.
sewing. It involves sewing.
I shall rule.
Yeah, I don't want to watch that.
No.
Yeah, we're just.
I don't know if that's
It's not my taste.
I don't know. I mean, I do know there's 13-year-olds in here and younger.
I mean, if it's younger, then you should ban them, and you're gonna get banned if you keep them in the server, so.
Natharix is a specifically bad case because he is a serial reoffender who has been arrested before and was caught with illegal material on his hard drive, and he just keeps coming back again and again under new names. Is there no IP ban feature on Roblox? Are they even trying to keep these people out at all? Perhaps the worst aspect of this is that however bad simulating intercourse on Roblox is, there were people using the game to distribute and sell illegal material. Fortunately, after months of non-stop work from Schlep and countless other people doing their best to work around non-existent Roblox moderation, some people figured out clever ways to force Roblox's hand in terminating the accounts of predators. By using a legal form provided by the Digital Services Act of the European Union, they could have accounts terminated without active cooperation from Roblox. With this exploit becoming more popular, an entire community by the name of Terminators X formed around tactically using it to get rid of predators in the game. With this in place, Schlep's operation then expanded to actually baiting predators from Discord into getting on Roblox, where he could catch and report them. Unfortunately, due to how makeshift this means of terminating people's accounts is, it was quickly abused by some malicious actors. So ultimately, it wasn't a sufficient replacement for proper moderation. So Schlep had to keep bringing attention to the issue, which was now so big that articles in mainstream news outlets were being published on it. In September of 2024, Schlep and Ruben Sim collaborated on a catch, which which concluded in them getting a guy to actually join their Discord call. Although the call was pretty uneventful as the guy just evaded all of their questions, it brought the sting operations one step closer to actually finding out the identity of the people who did this kind of thing. Now, once the identity of a creep can be ascertained, the next step would be to actually contact the police and get them arrested in real life. A few weeks later, that's exactly what Schlep did. By perusing Discord servers for Roblox condo communities, Schlep once again has an extremely easy time finding a creep for him to catch, although he didn't expect this guy to be a developer for a Roblox game. This time, Schlep made an offer the guy couldn't refuse: to meet up IRL. In order to carry this mission out, Schlep and Ruben enlisted the help of Alex Rosen, the same guy who caught EDP with the cupcakes, and they got the Predator to show up to a park, where they conducted an interview with him. During this interview, they slowly but surely veered the conversation into topics that, in the case that this guy had actually done something illegal, he would voluntarily admit to it. Lo and behold, it actually worked.
What about, there's one called, God, I'm trying to think, is it like Telegraph or?
Oh, Telegram?
Yeah, I think so, something like that.
Wait, okay. This is how he gets them. So he gets them to admit getting on Telegram, and that gives police probable cause to search the devices. Yeah. Get proof of the messages and stuff.
And so I'm scrolling through and I'm looking at all this, right? Now note, I'm trying so hard not to click a link.
Yeah, of course.
And so eventually, long story short, as I'm going through, my you know how the phone will sometimes like count it as a click, right? And it started to open up. It started literally the first thing that I met with on the app. Yeah.
In the next part, he reveals the extent of his involvement and experiences within these illegal communities. He's an active member in them, and he has been trading photos with others who share his twisted interests. The things he has witnessed in these circles are so horrifying that I couldn't even begin to describe them here. And if I could, I wouldn't want to subject you to that. But to give you a sense of how disturbing it is, imagine the worst, most vile content you can possibly think. Now multiply that by 100. That is the level of depravity we're talking about, and nothing was off the table for him. I don't usually believe in the supernatural, but there was something deeply unsettling here, almost subhuman, maybe even demonic. As he described all of this, there was no remorse, there was nothing of him feeling bad. It was him with a giant fucking grin on his face.
I'm just gonna send this help video to my friend here that kind of helps me with this. He couldn't make it today. Hey, what's up? So we're here with your Roblox developer, right? Hello. Yep. We're about to do the wipe on his phone. We're gonna get rid of the on your phone, right? Okay. How many images do you think we have to get rid of on your phone?
About like 30 or 40.
Okay.
I don't remember exactly.
And what's the game coming out that you got on Roblox soon?
Undertale. Endless.
Hell yeah, we're gonna make this game successful.
After this creep admits to having illegal materials on his phone, the police are called, and Alex's task is just to keep him there and talking while the police arrive. 30 minutes of yapping later, the police showed up, the guy was arrested, and promptly charged with 3 felony counts of possession of illegal material. While embarrassing this kind of person online makes for pretty decent content, actually getting them arrested and charged is leagues better and more important, as it actually gets them on registries and puts something on their criminal record. Unfortunately, just as Schlep basically went pro on the predator catching game, he was just probing the true depths of depravity that you can find in the game. In November 2024, he posted on his second channel about a Roblox group that worked as a means for criminals to distribute illegal material. And if that wasn't disturbing enough, it had well over 80,000 members. Granted, this may be a worldwide collection of creeps, but still, to imagine 80,000 of them sharing their spoils is disgusting to a degree that's hard to even conceive. Unfortunately, it did take a lot more time to do the IRL catches involving the police, especially since Schlep didn't have the structure necessary to travel to meet these guys. But he did manage to find someone else willing to cooperate, none other than Jadion. While the process leading up to the sting was quite similar, in this case, the predator, real name Don, made it way easier to find out his identity, as he immediately dumped multiple pictures of his face to the decoy minutes before he asked the decoy to be his girlfriend. They eventually got on a call together, and it would be funny if it wasn't abysmally dark.
I have feelings, like when I say feeling, a feeling that someone is lying about their voice and Are you sure you're not like a guy?
No.
Girl voice? Cause
No, do I sound like a relationship?
no, not really, but like I don't know.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. Yesterday he said he wanted to meet the decoy. Yes.
My dad, I know my dad, he probably would kill me if he found out. And the only thing is, I don't want to go to prison. I would not survive there.
It's almost like he knows he's walking into a trap, but couldn't stop himself from doing it on the 1 in a million chance that the decoy wasn't just a decoy. As soon as they started planning to meet up in real life, the hesitance went away, and the creep started laying out his fantasies in extreme detail, none of which can be included here, of course. Eventually, the time came to meet up IRL, and Don was getting really suspicious about the whole thing, but unfortunately for him, it was already too late, as Gideon and Alex approached him in his car.
All right, Don, we got to talk about Lily, okay? Can you come out of the car? Any weapons on you? Mind coming out of the car? We're trying to have a conversation about it. Yeah. Well,
I just don't. I'll stop.
well, Don, you can do what you want. We're not holding you here, but we do have all the messages saved. I just want to have a conversation with you about it because, look, we didn't come to your house for a reason. We came to just here to talk to you one-on-one. That's
we don't
all.
want your dad to know that you're using his car and nothing, so that's why we...
I'll just delete everything.
Just like the last guy, the more he talked, the more he put himself in trouble. Although he did make some attempt to lie and downplay the stuff he was saying to the decoy, as if Gideon and Alex weren't aware of the things being said. Eventually, the cops arrived, and Don was arrested and charged with attempted solicitation of a minor. After this success, there was a lull which lasted for a few months until Schlep pulled off another operation. But by February 2025, things started moving again. In a video that got up to nearly 4 million views, a creep by the name of Weed not only instantly sent his location and a picture of his face to a decoy, but simultaneously tried to groom someone else on Schlep's team. Later on, it turned out that this guy was a dev for a game with over 1,200 people in its Discord community, meaning that this wasn't some random creep who just used Roblox to do this stuff. He was an active member of the community with ties to dozens, if not hundreds of people, all while doing this kind of thing. It was during the meetup with Gideon that the predator in question pulled the pedo equivalent of hitting the snake run slalom in Pro Skater 4. He claimed that he purposely got catfished by a decoy minor so he could meet predator catcher YouTubers. However much of a Hail Mary trick shot attempt this was, it wasn't good enough to avoid arrest and 2 charges, one of them being a felony. While I haven't really been mentioning it due to the sheer repetitiveness, most of the people Schlep covers, even the ones that get arrested and charged with felonies, don't get their account banned from Roblox. When Schlep compiled all of the information on this guy in particular and sent it to Roblox, this is what they had to say.
The start of the email pretty much said that they have nothing to do with Discord, despite frequently partnering with them and collaborating with them, and also featuring them all over Roblox. There has been lawsuits filed against Roblox and Discord because of it. Instead of taking action themselves, they told me to contact police and have them reach out to Roblox. Why isn't Roblox the one reaching out to police to verify the information? That doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. But still, Roblox went ahead and assured me that they are looking into this, and his Roblox account wasn't banned. So I sent a follow-up email. That video isn't enough? It has chat logs, voice calls, me playing games with him, text messages, and footage of him in handcuffs. Then they went ahead and replied with a copy-paste reply. You can be assured that we are diligently investigating your report, and any player or content violating our terms of use and community rules will be moderated. At the time of writing this, it's been almost 3 weeks since he was arrested, and he has not been banned. After all the videos I've done catching predators, I've come to the conclusion that it's not just negligence anymore, it's complicity. Roblox knows what's happening on their platform, they know the risk, they know the harm that is being caused, and yet when faced with undeniable proof, they choose to look away every single time.
Even people who have been banned before for exactly this kind of criminal activity sometimes get their alt accounts unbanned, allowing them to come back and start up their activity again. According to Schlep, this same exact guy admitted to having groomed upwards of 500 kids on Roblox and frequently looking at illegal material, and still nothing was done. Luckily, whenever one of these degenerates crawl out of hiding to make new victims, people like Schlep are right there to intercept. In March, there was another catch, but instead of an arrest, the guy threatened to take his own life and deleted all of his social media instead. The unique part of this story is that after being caught red-handed and performatively leaving the internet, he came back and emailed Schlep saying the following: following. Hi Schlep, I hope you're doing well. I'm reaching out about a concerning situation I've been dealing with. My girlfriend and I have been victims of stalking and harassment for the past year, both on Roblox, Discord, and Instagram. Recently, I received a threatening DM from someone who seems to be trying to frame me. The message mentioned something about, "You're going to be the next predator, check out Schlep," and included a picture of my face. I wanted to check with you directly to see if this person has, in any way, contacted you regarding this or mentioned to me. I'm just trying to confirm if they might be attempting to use your channel to escalate the situation. This is one of the best examples of how dishonest these creeps are. Despite initially responding to being caught with emotional regret, here he's clearly trying to verify if he's really screwed up or not, because if he isn't, he can go do it again. He was on call with Schlep, he heard his voice, he knew he got caught and deleted his accounts, but ultimately it was all part of his plan. This creep named Archelaus proceeded to act as if the call never happened and came up with some story about Roblox accounts pretending to be him to frame him. Eventually, this guy realized that there was no point in overcommitting to this lie, and the next day he sent Schlep another email. I want to send this last message to be completely honest. I do feel genuine remorse for everything that has happened. The truth is, I let fear take over when I realized there were real consequences for my actions, and instead of handling things properly, I only made them worse. I now understand that my actions have consequences, and I fully accept them. I don't want to make excuses or try to justify anything. I just want to sincerely apologize to both of you. I also appreciate that the situation wasn't escalated further when it very well could have been, and I don't take that lightly. I'm also thankful that only my username and YouTube will be included in the video, and not my face or voice or the outside conversations we had. As you suggested, Schlep, I'll be stepping away indefinitely. I've realized that this environment has been triggering something unhealthy in me, and I need to take this as a wake-up call to reflect and improve as a person. I am truly sorry for everything, and I hope that in time I can become someone better. I will be praying for forgiveness and will work towards getting proper help. Sincerely, Ark. The likelihood is that this guy just realized that he wouldn't succeed at gaslighting Schlep out of making the video and decided to play the regret card. There could be some chance that this was sincere, but let's be honest, that chance is not slim. It's straight up Eugene Cooney. Luckily, this little side tangent didn't take Schlep's eyes off the real objective, catching and arresting predators in real life. And on March 30th, he would claim his next scalp, 20-year-old Matthew Thomas. Although, unlike the other ones, this one would make Schlep himself end up in court. The beginning of this doesn't differ too much. Schlep and his crew just set up a decoy account on a Roblox condo Discord server, and the creep just presents himself on a silver platter.
Hi, how's it going?
It's good. What are you up to?
Kinda just doing something at the moment, sitting here. How about you? What are you up to?
I'm just laying here right now.
Ooh, okay. Nice to hear that. What do you like to do?
What? I like to play games and stuff.
That's interesting. What brings you to that server, though? Are you only looking for friends? Or is there anything else you might be looking for?
I don't really know, to be honest. What are you in the server for?
For a few things. It's best I don't say.
Why?
Well, if you say so. I'm mostly there because I get so often, and I'm just looking to have some fun or find a girl to help me with my needs, you know. I didn't want to tell you because you just might block me. I'm 20. I'm assuming you're a lot younger. I don't mind either.
Yeah, I am, but it's like a lot.
It's okay.
Okay, but don't tell anyone. I'm turning next month.
Just like that, the creep proceeded to send pictures and videos of himself, getting fake pictures from the decoy in return, and incriminating himself to an unspeakable degree, to the point where even Schlep was taken aback due to how graphic it got. It's at this point that he decided to up the ante, prove that this guy wasn't just doing something illegal in this instance, but also that he had done it before, to other minors who were not decoys. The first step was setting him up with another decoy, on whom he ran the exact same drill, almost like he has a grooming manual he religiously sticks to. The next step was getting him on a voice call with the decoy, which he easily obliged.
Hey, I can't really speak much because my parents are like trying to sleep, and I don't want to wake them, so I can only say a few words.
Okay, that's fine. Don't worry.
Then they got in Roblox, and even then, the creepy and graphic messages didn't stop coming.
I haven't done it in so long. I can't wait to ruin you. Oh my god.
Now that they had a recording of his voice along with his messages, it was time to pull off the final move, the IRL meetup. And this time, it wouldn't be just Gideon, but also Schlep himself. There was no rug pull this time around, and as soon as Matthew showed up, Gideon immediately approached him.
Yo, Matthew, man. Hey, we just want to talk about this real quick. Is it cool if we just go in one of those back rooms? Hey, man, we just want to talk about this internet BS, man, if that's cool.
I was just looking to enjoy myself or whatever. I shouldn't have been doing this.
Doing what, man? Like I said, I haven't read through all of this, man, so, like...
I had no business doing any of this.
If she was here, man, like, what would have went down, you think?
I feel like it would... I probably would have went through with it, knowing me.
You think so? Went through with what?
Whatever, like enjoying herself.
Like, I'm done, man. Like, I'm a high school dropout. Like, what do you mean enjoying herself, man?
Oh, like sexual, you know.
Okay, so you think you would have had sex with her?
Yeah, I don't know how old she was.
You don't know how old she was?
Nah.
Okay.
I don't think I got the age.
She said she was 12, and you said, you acknowledge it, you said 12. And she said, yeah.
I have a really bad memory, so I forget stuff easily.
That's something important to remember, big dog, you know? I mean, multiple times she was telling you, like, she never done this before, and you were saying how you wanted to corrupt her and stuff like that. So it's kind of like, you know, and you know, you acknowledge, you know, you don't gotta lie to me, man. Like would it have still went down if she was here, though? You think, if, like, let's say we weren't here and she was just here, you think it would have happened?
Honestly, it's a 50-50. I feel like I would have taught some sense in myself, but I'm not sure.
Now that they had him where they wanted him, it was time to try and get Matthew talking about someone whom Schlep had discovered was a previous victim of his, a girl whose name on Roblox was Cloud. Matthew claimed that this girl was 18, which allowed him to be a bit more comfortable when Gideon brought up videos Matthew had sent her of himself gooning out. Soon after, the cops arrived and arrested him, but not before he reiterated everything he had confessed to after the cops had read him his Miranda rights, which only served to ensure that this guy was going to go behind bars for a while. It was only after the sting operation was carried out successfully that Schlep followed up on the Cloud girl, only to find something pretty dark.
At the airport, I sent a friend request to the girl in Matt's bio. We talked, and while she said Matt never did anything inappropriate with her, she confirmed he lied about her age. When I asked if there could be anyone else, everything started to unravel. Turns out he ran a group chat full of younger girls. He was the oldest one there. Things looked safe for work on the surface, but multiple girls told me he made extremely inappropriate comments towards them. Remember that message I showed you at the start of the video? One of the girls told me that after she face revealed, Matt started making these disturbing comments towards her to a point that it made her feel deeply uncomfortable. These are not decoys, these are real people.
Again, despite plenty of evidence of what was going on, Roblox ignored everything sent to them, refused to work with Schlep to privately deactivate the accounts of these creeps, and only ever did anything when YouTube videos about it went up, exclusively to avoid bad PR. Finally, in mid-April, Schlep announced that Florida Attorney General James Uthmeyer was taking matters into his own hands, sending a subpoena to Roblox over their lack of child protecting measures. And if Roblox's mismanagement of the situation wasn't bad enough, the one thing they'd actually started doing, which is banning the XYZ public toilet condo games, was basically being undone by Discord. You see, in order for these people to find victims, they'd have to look for games, and these games, in turn, are indexed to attract that sort of activity. However, since Roblox was cracking down on games that were specifically indexed for that kind of thing, predators were now working through Discord. In Discord servers, they would congregate to join servers that, at first glance, are unassuming and innocent, easily bypassing Roblox's defenses so that they can do what they do. This, in and of itself, was a violation of the Discord TOS, since it would be using their platform to purposely break the TOS of another platform. But at the time, Discord was doing nothing to curtail this activity. Getting no progress over on the Roblox and Discord side of things, Schlep decided to move his operation to a larger scope, catching creeps on apps like Grindr and Tinder. And although he did end up getting banned from Grindr for being underage, before that could even happen, he had already found a new predator and moved over to Snapchat.
Damn, I never messed with a 15-year-old before. I didn't care about doing stuff, but we could hang out.
Okay, bet bro.
Thoughts on the whip?
For whatever reason, he just decided to send his car here. But I will say, it is one big truck. Damn, nice AF.
Haha, thanks. TBH, I'd be down to f around. I'm just kind of wary because of your age.
I've only made out so far, but I kind of liked it. What are you trying to do?
I'm down to do whatever. Your call, man.
Same here. I'm open to whatever. Then he goes ahead and sends a video of him going to town with another man. Damn, is that what you wanted to do?
I don't know. Low-key could go for head.
I haven't done that before, but I could try.
I'm down to do whatever. Your call, man. Chris Hansen better not pop out behind the TV.
It's like no amount of self-awareness that what they're doing is inappropriate and wrong is enough to actually stop them in their tracks. During their call, this guy repeatedly hinted at being afraid of being caught, and when the inevitable happened, he actually tried to lie to get out of the situation, acting as if he'd only gone over to this decoy's house to play video games, accusing Schlep's team of trying to defame him, not knowing there was hidden cameras capturing everything he'd already said up until this point. The funniest part was when this guy randomly starts saying he does this kind of thing with his friends and that he's on the down low. I think that this was an attempted sort of Kevin Spacey defense strategy, but when you're being rightly accused of being inappropriate with a minor, I don't think that talking about how you're secretly gay exonerates you. With another catch being under his belt, on his second channel, Schlep covered what had been going on with David Baszucki, the CEO of Roblox, who is now under fire from journalists and the general public for his negligence. Specifically, some discussion had erupted on highly inappropriate Roblox avatars being approved for in-game use, which Schlep capitalized on by asking David on Twitter why there was a community of predators being allowed to function on their platform. The picture attached was of a Roblox group called Cartography Club, with cartography being a code word for making maps. And if you're not familiar with that acronym, MAP means minor attracted person. In the context of making maps, this could be in reference to turning kids into future offenders themselves, which is particularly vile and one of the most evil trends of this community. The bio of the group explicitly stated that its purpose was to find and distribute illegal material. So given that Schlep's tweet got enough traction to ratio the original from David, you'd imagine there'd be some kind of response. But no, there was none. Despite getting massive backlash and even getting community noted, David had nothing to offer in return. While many of these kinds of issues can be attributed to middle management being inefficient or there being some structural obstacles in the way of action, here the blame can be neatly placed at the feet of David Baszucki. Clearly, he had no interest in taking it seriously or even just acknowledging what everybody was pointing out. He only ever engaged with his critics by blocking them on Twitter. Once again, as no headway was getting made, Schlep hammered out another predator catch, which resulted in one of the most clearly manipulative exchanges with one of these creeps yet. After a bit of a back and forth with the decoy, R, the predator, decided to send an unprompted not safe for work image.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
Can you show me your ass?
I'm sorry I can't. It makes me nervous.
Please? Just one and I'll shut up about it.
I'm sorry. I don't wanna. Are you gonna hate me?
Yeah, a little. I thought you loved me. I guess not.
The lack of reciprocity from this would-be victim resulted in R either getting suspicious about it being a decoy or just losing interest as they wouldn't easily give him what he was after. Because of this, Schlep and Gideon had to make do with what they already had, which was this guy soliciting not safe for work photos from a minor. But before they could move on with a sting, they would have to get this guy going somewhere to meet a minor. So another decoy was made just to set a meetup. This decoy's age was set as younger than 13, yet this wasn't an obstacle for R, who promptly offered to meet up, but ended up blocking this decoy too for the same reason as the previous one. Surprisingly, despite how cagey this guy was to the decoys, when Gideon went up to his house in real life, he actually allowed Gideon into his place without much of an argument. And it's at this point that the darkest reveal yet happened. R, the Roblox predator, was actually the father of a 2-year-old girl. The mother of this child eventually joins the conversation, revealing she had already caught R doing this kind of thing 6 times before. Usually, this kind of situation only elicits disgust, but in this case, it's extremely sad to imagine that this guy had a wife and a kid while doing this kind of thing online. In this specific case, probably due to the laws in California, there was no arrest made, and based on Schlep's follow-up investigation, it seems like this guy has gone on to reoffend. With this failure in mind, Schlep made sure that his next target wouldn't be able to escape justice, although he certainly tried to. Manuel Gonzalez, a 21-year-old man in California, on Discord and Roblox under the name Latino Chrome, solicited the decoy just 35 messages into their conversation, and immediately followed it up by sending not safe for work photos of himself. Perhaps the most evil context of this entire exchange is that Manuel himself suggests he was a victim of this kind of crime and wanted to pass it on.
Sorry, but I'm still in awe. Are you actually in which you want to have sex?
Yeah, I am. And we could. Sounds fun.
I mean, it is a young age to lose it, but I lost mine young too.
Due to the sheer excitement from Manuel, it didn't take too long for the meetup to get set up. But before that happened, he was already contacting 2 other decoys. If he contacted other decoys, you know for sure he was talking to other actual minors on Roblox. Fortunately, his time on Roblox was coming to an end as Gideon and Schlep got to the park they were supposed to meet at, and an actual pursuit took place.
Yo, Manuel! Yo, Manuel, man. I don't want you to get in any trouble. Manuel, I don't want to have to tell your parents. Manuel, man, I don't want to call the cops. I don't want to call the cops. I just want to talk. We're not going to beat you up or nothing, I promise. Man, I just want to talk about this, man. I come in peace, man. I'm good.
Hey, man.
What's up? Okay.
After this chase came to an end, Manuel gave himself up in a pretty straightforward way, and he was then arrested and charged for felony online solicitation. In this case, it took until this cash was covered on major news outlets for Roblox to do anything resembling moderation and banning Manuel's account. The last we've heard from him, he failed to appear in court. The problem wasn't getting any better. If anything, it was getting worse, as David Baszucki reiterated his wishes to establish dating mechanisms on Roblox, which, of course, would just facilitate predatory activity. In late July, Schlep and his team had one last hurrah with a predator under the alias of Dark. Absolutely no relation to the famous and handsome commentary YouTuber Tom Dark. He must be from another branch of the Dark lineage dynasty altogether. Now, this guy was unique in that he relentlessly wanted to ERP, which became a bit of a problem since getting on webcam to engage with some creep is way beyond the job description of whoever the girls are that play the part of the decoys. After all, this wasn't really necessary because they already had all that they needed. Clearly, from this guy's friends list on Roblox, he engaged in this sort of thing with dozens of people, and the chance is quite high that many, if not the majority of them, are minors. While multiple of the previous targets were occasionally cagey, despite this guy being one of the oldest so far at 27, he was by far the most enthusiastic. While Schlep was struggling to figure out where their meetup would be located, as he was afraid that if the drive was 3 hours long, the guy would just give up and back off. But proving just how excited he was for it to happen, Dark himself suggested a meeting place that would have him drive 12 hours to get with this minor, all the while promising his eternal love and whatnot to the decoy. There was a brief moment during which Schlep thought he might have been played, but sure enough, when the time came, the creep showed up.
I'm here at the gas station. Where are you?
I'm in the bathroom. Could you get me this pizza?
Yo, my man. Listen, I just want to talk. Want to talk about this, my man? Listen, Austin, man, I don't want your family finding out, man. Can we just talk outside? Huh? Can we talk outside? Huh? Yeah, we can talk outside, my man. You want to talk? I mean, that's only $2, man. That's not gonna get you much gas. Oh, you got $100 there. Here, listen, man. I don't want your family finding out about this, man. Dude, what? Dude, who the fuck are you? Okay, my name is DeMarcus, man. Dude, can we? You want? Dude. Hey, I'm right here, man. You're scaring everybody here. Listen, I don't think you're a bad dude, man.
Dark proceeded to storm out of the gas station and run off as the team calls up 911 and they chase after him in their car. In this case, they couldn't really have a conversation with the perp and get him to talk his way into a longer sentence as he got too rattled and ran off before anything could happen. As Dark drove away as fast as he could, the cop showed up and stopped him. The only meaningful interaction came when the creep got desperate and tried to tell the cops about what had happened, as if he was the one suffering some injustice.
DeMarcus.
No,
No! She's over here. Hey, I don't want you to search my car. I didn't say it was okay.
But you're under arrest. When you're under arrest, they can do that.
I don't know why you know my sister. You don't know anything about me. Oh, no.
You came here to meet a 13-year-old girl.
Okay.
So why were you talking to
Why did she tell you is the problem?
Bro, her mom found it. And her mom let us know. Why were you gonna bring to your house?
I wasn't going to bring her.
Okay, so you were just gonna talk to her?
Yes.
Okay, so that that you sent to Tiffany, was that yours?
I didn't know.
This goofball still thought that the decoy was real and was mad that she told other people. The degree of these people's stupidity never ceases to amaze me. Unfortunately, it would be a while before Schlep caught another one of these, because by the beginning of August, something unexpected happened. Just a week into August, the corporate side of Roblox published an article titled "How Roblox Partners with Law Enforcement, Investigating Potential Threats to Safety." Even the title is a bit disingenuous, since so far, the only answer to how they do it is that they simply don't. But upon first glance, you could nourish the hope that this article would be the Roblox staff announcing they'd be working closer with the police to remove these elements from their game. Unfortunately, that hope gets curb stomped as soon as you actually get to the contents of the article. They begin it with the claim that all of their users already have a safe and positive experience on Roblox, and that this is thanks to their cutting-edge AI moderation. You know, 20 years ago or more, I understand being optimistic or even afraid of how good technology could get, for the simple reason that the population at large hadn't seen what the next step of technology would be. However, now that we live in an era of AI, and every day we see new examples of just how much it sucks ass big time, it's extremely hard to believe any of the "they're gonna take our jobs" stuff. If multi-billion-dollar companies like Roblox run their moderation with AI, that should tell you everything you need to know about how effective it is. Perhaps the most insulting part is that Roblox's staff isn't even willing to dish out the generic excuse of, "We know there's a problem and we're working on it." No, they skip straight to outright claiming that there is no problem, it's all in our head, we're imagining it. Further down the paragraph, they talk about how they directly collaborate with law enforcement, but so far, every example of someone from Roblox cooperating directly is when one of their employees goes rogue and speaks directly to Schlep. Now, this is all speculation, but if I were to guess, it's entirely possible that there's some kind of internal memo at Roblox that recommends against corresponding with independent content creators. Otherwise, why is it so hard for someone as big as Schlep, whose videos get millions of views and whose channel is a titan in the community, to just get a steady line of communication with someone at the company, even just an email address? While they talk a big game about online safety, they keep slipping up and admitting what it is that they really do. For example, in the broader collaboration section of the article, they talk about being a founding partner of an online safety toolset called Roost. If you click it, surprise, surprise, it's AI again. Listen, I'm not an AI hater outright, okay? I love me some AI-generated FNS content for those of you who know ball, but in this kind of context, there is simply no place for something as fickle as AI. Here, they say that nearly every interaction on Roblox is powered in some way by AI, as if that were a good thing. A job as sensitive as protecting children from predators online can't be done by just outsourcing to AI or third world tech support operations. You need people who care. People who will go above and beyond the call of duty to protect kids, not just get a paycheck. Even if you really think that one day efficient and effective automated moderation will be possible, that day is not today. Today, we need actual human beings on it. Otherwise, you just get more and more Roblox situations. Perhaps the worst part of all of the article is their section on vigilante groups, which reads as follows: "Law enforcement professionals are best positioned to investigate potential crimes. Therefore, we want to be sure any violations on Roblox are reported and acted upon through the proper channels. Unfortunately, there are cases of vigilante groups or individuals violating our policies to entrap users or otherwise self-police the platform. While these groups may appear to have the public's interest at heart, they are, in fact, acting in ways that could be harmful to others, both on and off our platform. For example, their efforts may leave bad actors on the platform longer simply to create more sensationalized social media content. Actions taken by vigilante groups increase the risk of more users being exposed to bad actors and can delay enforcement efforts by both Roblox and law enforcement. Any account, including those of vigilante groups or individuals caught violating our policies, will face consequences up to and including removal and banning where warranted. We enforce our policies in accordance with our community standards and overall terms of use. Instead of taking matters into their own hands, we encourage the community to report any inappropriate behavior directly to Roblox. Yeah, clearly that's worked great so far. Although they don't name him here, they are very clearly, even if indirectly, talking about Schlep. But it was really smart of them to not name him because they'd probably be committing libel. At no point did Schlep take matters into his own hands. At every opportunity he had, he did everything he could to get Roblox predators arrested by real police officers and charged with felonies. No entrapment, no violation of TOS, and the only reason some of them stay on Roblox after being caught is because Roblox itself refuses to ban them. Regardless of the doublespeak, the message was heard loud and clear. Roblox HQ had no interest in changing their approach. If anything, they would start cracking down harder on the people catching the creeps. Everything else is just yapping and AI. Within 2 days of this going up, Schlep made a tweet notifying his following that Roblox had just served him with a legal cease and desist notice. The notice claimed that Schlep engaged in simulated child endangerment conversations, shared or solicited personally identifiable information, and directed users to move conversations off platform. Following these accusations up, the letter read, "While Roblox acknowledges that your stated intentions may be to protect children, and while it recognizes the serious nature of online predatory behavior, your methods, including failing to immediately report suspicious activity to Roblox through proper channels, are actively interfering with Roblox's established safety protocols and, critically, are exposing Roblox's users to increased risk. Roblox will be closing your accounts. Please note that Roblox community standards prohibit opening new accounts to evade an enforcement action. Please be advised that Roblox reserves all rights to take any and all appropriate legal action against you should your violations of the Roblox community standards continue. Such actions may include, but are not limited to, claims for breach of contract and violations of the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act." The only thing that Schlep is exposing is Roblox's own negligence and incapability of moderating its own platform. Realistically, that's what they're concerned with. It's worth noting that while they terminated every account Schlep had with no notice or even a single attempt of establishing communication with him beforehand, Roblox did communicate with Roblox devs like Teddy, who made 9 not safe for work games directed at kids. It's not about getting rid of the predators. It's that every time Schlep highlights that there are creeps on their platform, it makes them look bad, and they seemed ready to take him to court in case he continued to do what he did. So Schlep made a video about it, expressing how much dismay this situation had caused him. It's one thing for Roblox to not cooperate with him and antagonize him, but for him to be threatened with a lawsuit for trying to help is beyond negligent. It's downright evil. Although the video doesn't run for long, he responds in the most apt way possible.
Roblox is actively claiming that I am hurting their players. Here's an email. I didn't ever plan on showcasing this in a video, but this is from a kid who is thanking me for getting someone he was groomed by arrested in real life. Roblox is claiming that I'm engaging in simulated child endangerment conversations. What? So one of the fundamental bases of predator catching is that you cannot talk sexually to predators. Predators are supposed to be the ones talking sexually to you. If you talk sexually to predators, like straight off the get-go, that's entrapment. That is literally what entrapment is. We almost always play a naive kid who doesn't know anything about this stuff, so they teach us about this stuff. If you watch these videos, you know how the chats are going, and they're not even on Roblox. Most of the chat logs are on Discord, and they're accusing me of getting people off of platform onto different social media sites. I guess that's worth a cease and desist and an IP ban of every single account that I own. That's just crazy. I can't even believe, I can't even fathom that. They also say sharing or soliciting personally identifiable information. I have no idea what they're referring to this. I would love to know what they're talking about. Are they referring to the fact that I give the information of the predators that we find to the police? Like, the people we're talking to are predators. Like, does Roblox understand that? I literally have no idea. If they thought something was genuinely wrong, they could have reached me out so easily. I think the most insulting thing is that they told me I'm not reporting people quick enough and I'm not reporting them through the right outlets. Tell me the right outlets. I have been trying to figure this out for like a year now. This here is Nepali Incel. This person actually made credible threats to the Las Vegas sphere in a Roblox game. And I saw this with my own 2 eyes. And the reason why it's a credible threat, it is because the FBI went ahead and arrested someone for making threats within that same game. I made a moderation ticket about it, and I even actually made a report to the FBI about this. Where is the cease and desist letter for him? Where is the IP ban for him? Are you gonna ban all of this dude's accounts?
There is simply no way that Roblox can claim that Schlep didn't do enough work with them, so much so that the evidence he collected was good enough for the cops to arrest and charge people. So how is it insufficient for Roblox to ban the accounts? Keep in mind, all of this is taking place within 1 week of a 10-year-old girl being kidnapped in real life by someone whom she met on Roblox. These run-of-the-mill creeps Schlep caught weren't even the worst people on their platform. At this point, much more serious threats were using Roblox to congregate and work together. It could not be more serious. And frankly, it couldn't be a worse time for Roblox to double down on its laxity. And actually, Roblox agreed. Doubling down wasn't good enough for them. They decided to triple down. And days after Schlep posted his response video, they came back with another article called "More on Our Removal of Vigilantes from Roblox." And somehow, they were even more grossly misrepresentative of Schlep. In the first few bullet points, they actually wrote, "Similar to actual predators, they often impersonated minors, actively approached other users, then tried to lead them to other platforms to have sexually explicit conversations, which is against our terms of use." Nice. Classy, even. To compare the people catching predators to predators themselves, just marvelous work from Roblox. Later on in the article, they once again suggestively accuse vigilantes, which is code for Schlep, of entrapment. I don't even know why they bothered to make a new article when most of it is just rehashed from the last one, which makes me think that this whole thing is also written by AI. I can't prove it, but I can feel it. Schlep took it to Twitter to reply. "We send you everything. We create YouTube videos showcasing the chat logs. We send you the Google Drives we give to the cops. You never made a line with me, and in multiple instances, you only ban arrested predators after I release a massive video on it." The whole Roblox community sees how flawed this argument is. It's because everyone has seen anecdotally that reports very rarely work. If your stance on safety is really true, why are there bathroom shower games for children? The attached image on his first tweet is a quote from Roblox, basically minimizing what Schlep and his team do to having a profit motive. I've never seen a worse case of projection ever. None of this would be happening if the $90 billion company that is Roblox spent some money to get real moderation. With this situation going viral on Twitter and elsewhere, eventually it made its way to politician Ro Khanna, who made a public statement demanding serious engagement from Roblox, or that they'd be facing consequences. Along with this came a formal petition to work toward better and real moderation on the platform. Soon after, Attorney General Liz Murrill also announced she'd be taking action against Roblox, actually suing the platform for its lack of safety protocols. And right now, her tweet has gotten over 6 million views. Roblox's response to all of this was none other than banning a bunch of Roblox users, not for being predators, but instead for naming themselves #FreeSchlep. Also, the Roblox CEO blocked Schlep on Twitter. Fighting the good fight here. The block may have happened because Schlep replied to one of his tweets, informing him that despite directly reporting a still active Roblox account that belonged to a creep who got arrested, all he got in return was an AI response. One day after this second round of online confrontation took place, Schlep made an important announcement that he'd be working with law firms SGGH and Milberg, who had already been working with the aforementioned case of a 13-year-old girl who was kidnapped by a predator she had met on Roblox. SGGH in specific were apparently involved with the legal representation of some victims of Jeffrey Epstein, so they're not a random law firm. Schlep did not hire some lawyer with no experience in this kind of case. He went to possibly one of the best people he could go to. Additionally, SGGH and Milberg would end up representing over 400 people who had been victimized thanks to Roblox's lax moderation. So this case was much bigger than some YouTube beef. This is especially important since the last lawsuit between Roblox and a content creator, Ruben Sim, ended up with Ruben having to defend himself against spurious accusations. Going up against a multi-billion-dollar company is no easy feat, but the horror stories from victims were stacking up pretty high, regardless of Schlep's involvement. One tweet by Edwin Dorsey, someone who is dedicated to reporting on bad company practices, compiled 30 of the most egregious cases that happened due to Roblox. These include, but aren't limited to, 1. A convicted groomer who victimized 150 children, almost half of which were younger than 13. 13. 2. A man in his 60s who was soliciting inappropriate pictures of a 5-year-old. 3. Innumerable cases where illegal photos and videos are obtained through the use of Roblox. 4. The attempted murder of a 2-month-old, which thankfully didn't happen, along with many other unfortunate cases in which creeps successfully manipulated, blackmailed, or otherwise coerced kids in real life to commit sexual acts. This is not another case of a company being delusional, fraudulent, or running some kind of dishonest scam type operation. Their lack of concern has led to crimes so evil, I can barely speak about them. Honestly, they are very lucky that Schlep is not a vigilante, because it could have easily been someone with a few screws loose stinging these creeps and actually taking matters into their own hands. If anything, everyone who's been talking about this has been too kind to Roblox and the way they handle these cases, as their negligence is beyond criminal. On the 15th, 2 pieces of really good news came out. First, Chris Hansen himself tweeted out a video announcing that him and his team were directly cooperating with Schlep on continuing his work toward keeping kids safe on Roblox. Secondly, the state of Louisiana filed a lawsuit against Roblox, alleging it allowed predators to thrive. One of the lawyers involved in the many cases of kids being victimized on Roblox said the following: "This is pervasive. There is so much of this going on Roblox. I can't tell you how many people I currently represent that have done this. We represent multiple people where the predators have actually physically met them and kidnapped them. This is all going on the Roblox platform, and Roblox knows about it. It's very impressive and unusual to see this kind of issue make its way out of the internet. And it's also important to note that if this hasn't been made clear yet, Schlep was just the convenient face of this movement, the tip of the iceberg. As more people joined in and took action against Roblox, it grew much larger than Schlep or anyone involved in his stings. On the 15th, it was reported that Roblox's stock value suffered a sharp drop, not only because of all of the lawsuits popping up left and right, but also because it was banned in Qatar, Turkey, Iran, China, Jordan, and Oman. To put this in a perspective that's slightly easier to understand, over the course of less than 2 weeks, Roblox managed to lose a whopping $12 billion in market cap. Given how meticulous the EU tends to be about these things, it wouldn't surprise me if they're the next to do the same if Roblox doesn't take radical action against the creeps on their platform. Thankfully, huge content creators like Asmongold and Charlie were heavily signal boosting this movement, bringing as much attention to the issue as possible, and collectively calling for some accountability from Roblox. Unfortunately, there were some obstacles being thrown their way. Ruben Sim released a video about what had been going on, and it was falsely taken down under the premise of child safety. The irony of these situations never ceases to amaze me. There were also some people who were trying to exploit all of the attention and traction Schlep was getting by pretending to be him and opening GoFundMe pages asking for legal funds. Although this quickly made its way to Schlep, who promptly disavowed it and clarified that he had no involvement with it, this kind of thing is pretty dangerous, as well-intentioned people may end up sending their money to scammers. As people began to turn on Roblox en masse, they realized that the problem had a name attached to it: CEO David Baszucki, who put up roadblocks at every turn when people were trying to help remove predators from the game. People were so fed up at his inaction that a petition to remove him got to over 100,000 signatures. And although the petition is pretty impotent on its own, there clearly was a lot of momentum mounting up against David, and for good reason. As Schlep frequently reminds his audience, as Roblox was being overrun with creeps, David thought the best course of action was to add dating to the game. In another extremely ironic turn of events, despite getting on Schlep's case for supposedly sharing or soliciting information that could personally identify users, Roblox began recommending for users to have their in-game display name as their real name. I think your real name is the definition of personally identifiable information, so I don't know what I don't know what they were thinking. Despite clearly sidestepping their own terms of service, they still felt comfortable enough to use their TOS as a legal excuse to force victims of creeps to not pursue legal action against them. And I quote, "Roblox takes the remarkable position that because this minor child received so many benefits from using the platform, he cannot now complain that Roblox is trying to prevent him from seeking justice in court for the life-altering harm he has suffered." About a week and a half after the cease and desist was sent to Schlep, Roblox finally responded directly to him, after multiple subliminal and indirect cases of addressing him through articles on their website. This is what they had to say: "Taking the law into your own hands isn't safe in the real world, and it's not safe online. That's why we work with law enforcement to hold bad actors accountable." As you can imagine, this was deeply annoying to hear for Schlep, who had already spoken at length about why that wasn't at all the case. A day later, Bloomberg published an article which contained the following passage: "Policing will only get harder as the company strives to reach co-founder and chief executive officer David Baszucki's goal of 1 billion daily users, more than 10 times the number today. Each current and former trust and safety worker says user growth at Roblox takes priority over child safety. 8 current and former trust and safety workers say user growth at Roblox takes priority over child safety. They describe calls for more resources going unanswered, resulting in a backlog of incident reports and the departure of one manager who left after promises for extra staff went unfulfilled. Others say that features they recommended to better protect kids, such as pop-up safety notices, were rejected, and that safety settings, for example, to ensure users aren't talking to strangers, were switched off by default. And while the company says it's increasingly relying on AI moderation and those systems are improving all the time, some employees say the technology isn't yet able to detect subtle signs of grooming. Once again, clear as day, there is the mention that more intuitive defenses against groomers are being neglected in favor of AI. Even when their own staff comes up with ways to aid the issue, the top brass shuts it down because they just want more people playing the game. And whether they get victimized or not is secondary. This is directly reflected in them choosing to continue platforming Elsa-Gate-like content on their platform, with smasher pass games and bathroom hangout condos with private rentable rooms being able to function without issue. On the 22nd of August, Schlep posted a video featuring Chris Hansen, which now stands at nearly 8 million views, going over all of the developments that have happened since the cease and desist letter on the 9th. As the list of gigantic content creators who had become vocal supporters of Schlep grew, and as he started to get interviewed by outlets like the Rolling Stone, Roblox finally started considering responding appropriately. On the 28th, they announced the end of 17+ games, which would be turned into 18+ games and would require age verification with a government-issued ID to play, meaning they wouldn't be accessible or even visible if your account is set to be less than 18 years old. While it's strange to me that a kids platform like Roblox has 18+ games available, at the very least, this is better than nothing. Additionally, whatever AI they have that moderates avatars was tuned to better pick up on when there's something inappropriate in them and resets them within 30 seconds. But don't get it twisted. This isn't out of the goodness of their hearts. They are doing this because they suddenly found themselves in boiling hot water. And if David Baszucki had a button that put every person raising a stink about this in a space shuttle and shot into outer space, he'd be slamming it with a comically large hammer right now. Regardless of what their motivations truly are, this was too little, too late, as other people like Law by Mike also joined in support of Schlep's efforts. Meanwhile, Roblox's quote-unquote efforts to curb inappropriate games on their platform turn out to be completely facetious, as Schlep shows that, for example, Smasher Pass games continue to not only be available for kids 5 years old and up, but verified by Roblox, just because they changed the name of the game to High Five or Pass. Hopefully, the heightened attention on this issue continues until Roblox suffers the consequences of its negligence toward its user base, as there have been very few scandals related to games for kids that have gotten this big in the history of the internet. Just recently, they beat Steam's record as Roblox got to nearly 50 million concurrent users. So there have never been this many people, most of which are kids, on the platform. And it's as important as ever to keep them safe. For the time being, you should go support Schlep in whatever way you can. Anyhow, I've been Turkey Tom, thanks for watching, and until next time, leave me alone.